He wore that cone for 11 days. 11 days of bumping into walls, 11 days of struggling to reach his food bowl, 11 days of not being able to groom himself, to feel normal, to feel like himself. And for every single one of those 11 days, someone was there. Not a human, not a vet, not a shelter volunteer who checked in twice a day and called it love. Another cat. A black and white stray who had no reason to stay, no instinct that demanded it, no training that required it. Just a choice. Quiet, stubborn, absolute. The kind of choice that doesn't look like much from the outside until you realize it's the only thing that kept the other one going. This is the story of Milo and Jasper, and I promise you, by the time this is over, you'll never look at a bonded pair the same way again. They came in together. That much was clear from the first moment the intake coordinator opened the carrier door. Most cats brought in as a pair will scatter to opposite corners of a room. Stress does that. New smells, new sounds, strange hands reaching in, every instinct screaming, separate, hide, survive alone. Milo didn't move. He was the ginger one, orange and white, thick through the middle, with the kind of face that looked permanently slightly offended by the world. He sat at the edge of the carrier opening and simply waited, like he was taking attendance. Jasper came out second, black and white, leaner, with a white chest that looked like someone had pressed a paper napkin on him and it just stayed. He walked out slowly, surveyed the room with those pale green eyes, and then did something the intake coordinator later said she'd never seen a cat do in her 11 years at the shelter. He walked directly to Milo and sat down beside him, shoulder to shoulder, not touching exactly, just present, just there. She wrote in the intake form, "Bonded pair, do not separate." 3 words, 11 letters, a sentence that would spend the next 4 months being ignored by almost every potential adopter who came through the door. The shelter was honest about it. They always are when they're good ones. People want 1 cat, the coordinator explained to the first couple who asked about Milo. 2 cats means double the food, double the vet bills, double the responsibility. Most people do the math and walk away. And most people did. 14 families came through in 4 months. 14 times the coordinator brought them to the corner where Milo and Jasper lived. 14 times someone said, "Could we just take 1?" 14 times the answer was no. By month 3, Milo had developed a urinary blockage. It happens in male cats, especially stressed ones, and the shelter's vet caught it early enough. Surgery was quick, recovery was expected to be smooth. He came back from the procedure wearing a plastic cone around his neck, an Elizabethan collar, the kind that makes cats look simultaneously pathetic and furious. And the shelter staff settled him back into the shared enclosure with a blanket, a water bowl within easy reach, and the reasonable assumption that Jasper would give him some space to recover. Jasper gave him no space whatsoever. If you're still watching and haven't subscribed yet, I need you to do that right now. Hit the button, because what I'm about to tell you is exactly why this channel exists, and you don't want to miss what comes next. The first night after surgery, the shelter camera caught something the staff only noticed when they reviewed the footage in the morning. At 2:14 a.m., Milo tried to reach his water bowl and miscalculated the cone. He bumped the edge of it against the floor, startled himself, and backed into the corner. He sat there for a moment, disoriented, the cone tilted at an awkward angle. Jasper, who had been asleep on the opposite end of the blanket, lifted his head. He watched Milo for approximately 4 seconds. Then he stood up, walked across the enclosure, and sat down directly in front of the water bowl. He didn't drink from it. He didn't do anything, really. He just positioned himself, like a marker, like a landmark that said, "Here, this direction, I'll show you." Milo followed the sound of him, adjusted his angle, found the bowl. Jasper went back to sleep. The coordinator watched that footage 3 times before she could speak. It continued for all 11 days. Jasper stationed himself near Milo's food every meal. When Milo struggled to settle his cone against the blanket at a comfortable angle, Jasper would shift his own position until they were touching, just enough contact to serve as a reference point, an anchor. When shelter visitors came too close and Milo tensed, Jasper moved between them, quietly, without drama, without any behavior that read as aggression, just presence, just the absolute unwavering decision to be the thing that didn't move. Stories like this are why some of us can't stop sharing them. They are too good to keep to yourself. On day 11, the cone came off. The vet cleared Milo fully, no complications, healing perfect, urinary function completely normal. The coordinator brought both cats out into the shelter's visitation room for the first time since the surgery. Milo spent the first 2 minutes investigating every corner of the room. Cone-free, suddenly himself again, that permanently offended expression replaced with something that looked almost like curiosity. Jasper sat in the center of the room and watched him. When Milo finally made his way back and sat down beside him, shoulder to shoulder, the way they had stood in that carrier 4 months ago on the first day, Jasper slow blinked once. That was it. That was the whole reunion. Sometimes love doesn't need a grand gesture. Sometimes love is just, I see you. I waited. You're back. They were adopted 9 days later. A woman named Rachel had seen a post the coordinator made about Milo's surgery and recovery. A photograph of that 2 a.m. moment from the shelter camera, grainy and slightly overexposed, Jasper sitting in front of the water bowl while Milo found his way towards him in the dark. She drove 2 hours to the shelter on a Saturday morning. She sat in the visitation room with both of them for 40 minutes and didn't say much. Milo climbed onto her lap after about 20 minutes and regarded her with deep suspicion. Jasper sat nearby and watched the whole thing with the calm, evaluating expression of someone who had seen people before and wasn't easily impressed. Rachel signed the paperwork for both. She sent the coordinator a photo 8 weeks later, Milo and Jasper, side by side on a window ledge, watching the street below, the same way they always had, the same way they probably always will. The coordinator printed it out and pinned it above her desk, where it has stayed ever since. Because here is what this story is, underneath it all. It isn't a story about cats, not really. It's a story about what it means to stay, to decide that someone else's discomfort matters more than your own discomfort, to show up at 2:14 in the morning when there is no reward, no acknowledgement, no one watching, and do the small, unglamorous work of being present anyway. Milo didn't need Jasper to fix him. The vet did that. What Milo needed was someone who wouldn't leave while the fixing was happening. Someone who understood, without language, without explanation, that the hardest part of recovery is never the pain itself. It's the dark. It's the disorientation. It's not knowing which direction the water bowl is. Jasper knew, and Jasper showed him every single time. If you're thinking about adopting, please consider the bonded pairs. Consider the ones the shelter marks do not separate. They aren't twice the trouble, they are twice the love, already organized, already proven, already reaching towards each other in the dark. Some things arrive in your life already whole. You just have to be brave enough to not break them apart.